Welcome back to another edition of the Next Gen Jets show alongside Chris and Connor on this beautiful Sunday, May 4th morning. How are we doing, gentlemen?
I'm doing well, man. I'm excited to be here with you guys on this Sunday morning. Early wake up time just for this show, just to put out some content for you guys. So I'm doing well. I'm excited to get into it, chop it up with you guys, talk some secondary. Excuse me, Connor. How are you doing?
Can't complain, can't complain. We're approaching scheduled release time. We're in the dead period, but the Jets never fail to give us stuff to talk about. So happy to talk about the secondary and always trust Glenn no matter what happens.
All right, guys, make sure hit that like button and subscribe. Help us start to grow this channel out a little bit.
Bring your
Guys, let's
thoughts in
talk.
the comments as well.
Absolutely. We'll get to respond to those maybe in a couple future episodes. But let's talk some secondary Sunday. Connor, I want to talk about the free agent signing of Brandon Stevens. Obviously, after you let DJ Reed walk in free agency, he's going to come in here and try and play cornerback too. Do you like the move? There's also some speculation of him moving over to safety. What do you see out of him?
I mean, look, when you look at a guy like Brandon Stevens, this is someone who's coming off a rough 2024 season, doesn't have great ball skills, but Aaron Glenn, I think, has made it clear he thinks he's someone he could groom into a top cornerback in this league. Don't love the contract from an overall value perspective and what he's put on the field, despite drafting A.Z. Thomas in the third round with the top 75 pick, which I thought was terrible positional value by Darren Muji. Brandon Stevens got paid like a cornerback, and Aaron Glenn has made it clear he wants to develop him as a cornerback. I don't see Brandon Stevens playing at safety, and not to mention when he played safety his first few years in this league, he struggled mightily. I expect Brandon Stevens to be a boundary corner on this team for the 2025 season.
Chris, Connor touched on Azareye'h Thomas a little bit. Third round pick at 73. Obviously wasn't exactly a positional need to go corner there, but do you like the pick? Do you think that Aaron Glenn can turn him into something and one of the reasons why he was mocked in the second round?
The thing about this pick is I hate the position, but I cannot knock the player. I wanted them to take receiver at this spot 100%. I think going into this draft, wide receiver 2 was our biggest need. And then passing on receiver made no sense because then they had to wait to the 4th to draft a guy that we're unsure on, like Arian Smith. However, Azareye'h Thomas, right? He's a player who's going to be a physical corner, and I think with this new regime and this new coaching staff coming in, that also brings along a new defensive scheme. And depending on what Glenn and Wilkes want to do, they might require a physical corner like Azareye'h Thomas. So I think they definitely have some Glenn and Wilkes, they have some tricks up their sleeve for this defensive scheme. And I feel like Glenn can't wait to work on a guy like Azareye'h Thomas and turn him into a real difference maker next to Sauce.
Personally, I'm actually pretty excited about what this cornerback room can bring with Michael Carter at nickel and obviously Sauce Gardner staying there. I don't know about you guys. Are you on this cornerback hype train? Do you think I'm overhyping it a little bit? But with two new guys coming in and two foundational pieces that we know are going to be rock solid, what do you think the highs and lows and the ceiling of this group can be?
It depends, right? Because Michael Carter was a huge difference maker in 2023, and last year he had an injury-plagued year, dealt with a nagging back issue that kind of, hindered him from reaching that ceiling that we saw in 2022 and 2023. But let's keep in mind, this is someone who's progressed every year he's been healthy in this league. I think a lot of it hinges on his success, how he comes back, how he locks down the slot. Not to mention, though, I also like the depth. I think Isaiah Oliver is kind of your Swiss Army knife type guy you could plug into the slot with the absence of MC2. Like the boundary. I think this team, especially with Aaron Glenn's coaching, this could certainly be a top 10 secondary. But when it comes to the secondary as a whole, I think a lot of the struggles are going to come from the safety position. A lot of unproven names there, and Andre Cisco, Jarius Monroe, Malachi Moore, Tony Adams. That's where my main concerns lie in this team's secondary.
Chris?
Josh, I'm high as a kite on this corner room.
No.
And the secondary coming into this season, man. A former cornerback in Aaron Glenn working with the guy like Sauce Gardner, like that just makes me so excited to see what he's going to be able to do with a guy who's already a top 3 corner in the league. Some might argue top 2 behind Patrick Surtain. And really, Glenn can, since him being a former corner, can really turn him into the best corner in the league and a real defensive player of the year candidate, almost like as we saw Patrick Surtain win it. Sauce, if he's put in the right system and he's put in the right, put as the right role in that system, and with a couple, tackling technique refinements as Glenn would bring to him, like he can be really good. And then all the guys like Aziria Thomas and Michael Carter, you guys touched upon, and Brandon Stevens, the guy we signed. I'm excited to see what Glenn can do developing him, being a former corner. So I'm really excited about this secondary.
Connor, free safety was a big highlight for you on the depth chart heading in. They end up signing Andre Sisco on a 1-year prove-it deal. And then in the draft, they go Malachi Moore in that 5th round, but he's not exactly the guy to fit the bill as an extremely physical safety. Did they do enough with this safety room? Is there a bit of a concern in the back end of this Jets defense there?
It isn't free safety, which that's the main concern. I mean, I think they could certainly need some more proven bodies. For me, it's strong safety. I don't think they have anyone they could really put down in the box and rely on to make big plays and be that 3-down safety. Julian Blackmon's a name that's still hanging around in the free agent market. He's someone I'd like to bring in, but when it comes to getting that nice, strong, big box safety, that's where my main concerns lie.
Chris, and does it concern you that there's really no veteran presence in the safety room right now? Tony Adams hasn't proved much. Andre Sisco on a 1-year deal, and Malachi Moore, rookie.
It doesn't really concern me that much. Excuse me. We have a lot of young bodies in this room with potential to develop, and if Glenn is as good a coach as I have been hyping him up to be, like, that won't be a problem, because we good coaches make the most out of young guys with a bunch of talent, and they coach up the mistakes and they coach them up into quality players. And we have a lot of those guys. They obviously like something they saw in Andre Sisco, a nice option there. Malachi Moore, obviously. Oh shoot, my mic almost fell. My bad. Malachi Moore, a guy we drafted that they're probably high on, and then Tony Adams, the guy who had 2 picks against the Bills to finish 2023, I think, with 3 picks. But yeah, so I'm
Jordan Whitehead.
What?
That's Jordan Whitehead.
Nah, I think Tony Adams had that too.
It's Jordan Whitehead in week 1 of Jordan Whitehead against Josh Allen in week 1.
I will check tape on that, but I'm excited about this safety room. I think that there can be a veteran presence. I don't think that it's like. I don't think it's do or die. I think it obviously helps to have, but I'm not like as nervous about safety as I am D tackle.
Yeah, it was Jordan Whitehead.
Gotcha.
Connor, I know you brought up Isaiah Oliver as maybe one of those guys that you could slot anywhere in and out. If injuries were to come up before him, you'd be comfortable with him coming into the game. But a guy I want to talk about is Quantez Stiggers. Made the most of his time on the field last year. If there is injuries to a guy in front of him, is this someone that you could see stepping up in the secondary, making a difference and filling in well for a guy like Sauce Gardner?
I think he might be I think he's either going to be a safety on this team, Josh, or he's not even going to make the roster. There's just no room right now at the cornerback position, and he's someone being talked about to maybe convert into that hybrid type role to safety. Because I mean, when you look at the Jets cornerback room right now, you have Sauce Gardner, you have Brandon Stevens, that's 2, Azarie Thomas is 3, JBC, Trey Swilling, that's 5. All 5 of those guys has proven a lot more than Quantez Stiggers. I don't think you carry any more than 4 cornerbacks personally. So maybe Swilling isn't even another guy on the outside looking in. He's pretty much just a pure special teamer. Another name to throw in there is Chris Boyd. He's going to be on the roster. Yep. He's just a pure special teamer. Quantez Stiggers, I think the only room on him on this team for him is that free safety.
Chris, last one to you before we end it. Quantez Stiggers going to make the roster. Can he play any role if he does?
It depends on what Aaron Glenn sees in him. I think there's obviously a chance he makes the roster. I know Connor's smiling at me because he thinks I put too much confidence in Glenn. I think that Glenn is, like, the bar from last year is so low that really it can't be worse than that. It really can never get worse than that. I think Glenn has a lot. He this is his dream job. He said that this is his dream job. He worked his way up from the absolute bottom. He has not head coaching experience before, but he has experience at every level. Scouting. So I think that it depends on how he comes out and does in camp. I can't guarantee or not guarantee if he's going to make the team, but we, as Connor said, we know there's a lot of limited space and limited role. So I would love to see him come in and be a free, strong safety if you want to be able to play in the box.
Well, knowing this team was in the hands of Chuck Clark secondary-wise last year makes me feel a bit better, and I think that it's all uphill from here. Connor, any final thoughts before we close on the show?
Not much, just hoping this team could produce, and I think if there's one strong positional group on the Jets depth chart, it's certainly the cornerback position.
Chris.
I agree with Connor 100%. I'm so excited for this Jets season. I'm excited for the college football season, and I'm excited for the Jets and just watching the Jets the next decade because I think they set themselves up perfectly with the Fields move. I think if Fields works out, great, you have your franchise quarterback. If not, great, you're drafting your franchise quarterback in 26.
Define working out. I don't think if he works out, you have your franchise.
Working out is the Jets make the wild card and Fields throws over 20 touchdowns.
That's not a franchise quarterback.
For this year's Jets, you couldn't complain about.
You just finished. There's a difference between being a solid quarterback and a franchise quarterback. Like, I don't think Baker Mayfield's a franchise quarterback. I don't think Geno Smith is a franchise quarterback.
Well, why not Baker Mayfield?
What?
Why not Baker?
Because he hasn't brought them to the NFC Championship game. You have to win as a franchise quarterback. You have to bring your team far. There are a few franchise quarterbacks in my eyes in this league. Those guys are Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Jalen Hurts. Those are the 3 guys I view.
Lamar Jackson, not on that list.
Lamar Jackson, I'll throw in there. That's my bad. Those 4 guys. Other than that, I don't view any other franchise quarterbacks in this league. You can be a good quarterback, but not franchise. I think Justin Fields could be a good quarterback for this team. I don't think he's going to be the franchise quarterback, though. With the scheme around him, again, he could be good. He can bring a team to the playoffs. Not a franchise guy, though, in my eyes.
All right, I think we could have a whole nother show entirely on the quarterback room, but we'll save that for another time. From Connor Long, Chris Grosso, I'm Josh Williver saying see you next time from the Next Gen Jets show.